Hi everybody, I hope that you guys are doing well. Before we get into the reading, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. It looks to me that, like there is a decision or something that you're trying to do, something that you're figuring out but may have not decided on yet. I'm seeing there be a sense of inner conflict about this. There may also be somebody outside of you where like you're trying to make a decision or prioritize something, and this person may not agree with the way that you're going about doing something. If another person is not involved with this, it seems like there is a choice that you feel you are stuck in a space of like, do I go this way or do I go that way or do I do that thing over there? And I'm not seeing this be a situation. I will say what I don't see, because I'm also seeing this be helpful. If we had the Two of Swords rather than the Two of Pentacles that I was seeing, this would mean like you know what decision to make. It may not be an easy one, but you know what to do. It's just about actually doing it. To have the Two of Pentacles, it's more so like could go either way, and you may be putting a lot more pressure on yourself to make the right decision when there's not necessarily a right decision. So that's also something to keep in mind too. It like the test for you may be more so to actually just make a choice rather than which one you actually do, because this may be a moment it may be a moment where it's about making the choice, not necessarily what the choice is about. It's like, are we gonna pick orange or are we gonna pick blue? You know, it's like you're gonna end up picking a color anyway, so follow your intuition, lean into it, and know as well that if you are not getting specific insight, if they're not saying pick pink, pick green, if it is not completely obvious to you, then it may be something where it's like, I don't want to say inconsequential, but it may hold less weight than you're giving to it. Like you may be focusing on something that is like not the point of what you're being guided to focus on. Because when you get into facing a choice where it's really going to matter, your guides will speak up to you. It will be known if you are tuning in. The Ten of Swords here. What is this about? Spirit saying something needs to come to an end. This is something that you recognize is not benefiting you. It's something that is not allowing you to continue growing. I'm seeing something here about an offer. I'm seeing two very different energies. Knights are about initiating. Knights are about going after what it is that they want, pursuing things. This can be you. This can be somebody in your life. If you are choosing to pursue something in a diplomatic, slow, paced out way, it is going to cut off a more impulsive energy. However, if you're doing something where you're like, I'm tired of waiting, I'm just going to go after this, there's going to be, it even seems like there's a clashing between these two energies. What it looks like to me is that, like, you may even be oscillating between two things, and it doesn't necessarily seem like it ends in a way that would be desirable. And maybe that's the thing as well. The clashing has happened, And that's also connected with this ending. Let's get further, because I wonder if these are like people that are addressing you, or if this is you. Now I'm seeing another knight. So there's an ending, and there's somebody that's in a space where what they are connected with is a sense of thinking about the long term, thinking about a sense of stability, what is going to be lasting. And maybe that's also the type of energy that one wants within their life. But then I'm seeing somebody have a different idea about this, and they're planning to come through. But I am definitely seeing a clashing, and I'm wondering, like, are these two different people that are coming into your life, or is this you working through something where you know things did not work in the past because of them happening in a way that was not in alignment. And so in order to avoid having to go through an ending like this again, it seems like it's connected with as well what it is that you're building, what it is that you're connecting with, what it is that you are thinking about. There's a choice that needs to be made. You may be able to do something in a way where it is going to be stable and lasting. And then you may also have this other part of you that's like, you know what, we could get this done if we just do it really quickly. However, that may have been how you were doing things before, and it may actually lead to like another tower or another ending for you. I want to see too what this is about, because like for some of you this can be like job related, it can be connected with money, but it can also be connected with relationships. Having a hard time with an ending, and maybe this is also how you're responding to something because it feels difficult. At least it did. At least it was, at least it has been. Recognizing where you may be making a move out of fear. You know what? This reminds me very much of a Saturn energy. When we feel heavily impacted by the movement of Saturn, by a transit, by an aspect, we feel like we need to like save things, and like you're not ready to take a chance, you're not ready to make a risk, you like want to play it safe. You feel like you need to do everything that you can to kind of like protect yourself and to build. And it's a very like scarce type of energy. It can have us feeling like luck is not on our side at all, like we're completely restricted by things. Whatever this fear is that you're feeling connected with this ending, you may be feeling like, even though from a higher perspective you would recognize, you know what, this thing did need to come to an end, part of you may still be in a space where you have not fully come to terms with this. And so it's having you in a space where you even feel down bad because of it, because of this ending. The thing is that, like, in the grand scheme of things, the ten of swords is not the world. It is not an ending that feels good. It's not a closing of a chapter where it's like, wow, I accomplished this. Like, it can feel very difficult, and it can feel very daunting, and it can feel very uncomfortable. The thing is that this was not something that was healthy for you, and this was something that it was meant to come to an end. There's no way that this thing could have gone on. It would have been like too far out of balance, and so that's why it came to an end, whether it was your decision or it wasn't. And you being in a place where you recognize, like, yeah, maybe that really hurt a lot. Whatever feelings these are that you're having that are connected with this, until you get to a space where you're understanding this was for me, not something where like I'm the victim of whatever this thing is that happened. Because when you're in a space where it's like, why did this happen to me? And all of that, it's not going to allow you to see that like this happened for your benefit. And it actually happened in order for there to be stability brought into your life, rather than this fast-paced energy that is going to die out very quickly. Like, as fast as it sparks up is as fast as it's put out. And that may have been what you were doing before, like going after things that felt good in a moment, or like allowing a person to come in, what have you, about this energy, like a more impulsive, like knee-jerk type of energy. This is making room for more stability and things to be lasting within your life, is what I'm seeing here. Like this ending, and you moving through whatever like lack mentality this is the vehicle for you to bring in more stability within your life, and to also move past this like impulsive, like short-term decision making. Again, whether this be like jobs, whether this be how you're making money, whether this be like relationships that you have within your life, whatever it was that you were doing where you're like, I just need to scratch an itch and I don't care about anything else, not thinking about the long term, not thinking about playing the tape to the end, and then being in a space where you get to this point where this thing is ending because it's not able to have like a long shelf life, and then feeling like you're in a space of disaster and like, why did this happen? It's like not having insight into the cycle. Because you hadn't been playing the tape to the end, it's like you're surprised every time this thing comes to an end. However, in reflecting on this and understanding, and this doesn't just have to be impulsive decisions, this can be like, I made a choice out of avoidance. Anything that is fear-based, avoidance, not wanting to deal with something, trying to fix something with a band-aid, stuff like that, like a poverty mindset when you're making choices, rather than ones that feel empowering to you. Making a choice out of scarcity, out of like, if I don't do this now, maybe it'll like disappear, even though I know it's not the right time for me, so I'm just gonna do it now. It's like stuff like that where you're not trusting the flow of things. So this is all about getting you back in flow and allowing things to be lasting for you rather than short term. To not have another cycle repeated. For some of you, this is directly connected with the people that you allow in when you're connecting relationship-wise. People that you may be like, I feel so attracted to this person. Remember, energies can be reversed. This can be a way that you're approaching other people. We're just going to stick with one storyline, and you can reverse it if that works for you. This is about like allowing energies to come through that you may have an initial attraction to this person, and that's really all that's being looked at here. And then it inevitably leads to you recognizing, hey, when it comes to long-term stability and what it was that I wanted to build, like this person actually clashes very much with ideally what I want. A sense of responsiveness, reliability, long-term. And every time that I invite this Knight of Wands energy into my life, which is like an impulsive, like magnet type attraction, somebody that's like coming through and then they're leaving and they're very unreliable, an energy like that, one that may feel very exciting, however, one that you're going to be building sand castles with. Very easy for it to be destroyed and knocked over. Even though for a temporary time you can build what you want, this is not something that's going to be lasting for you. And then inevitably falling into this place where you feel heartbroken because of this person not meeting your actual standards and desires, because what you are leaning towards right now is wanting something reliable and stable, wanting somebody that means what they say and is going to follow through with it. And by you like allowing in or going after something that just looks shiny and not looking at what's inside of there and what's underneath, it inevitably leads to this feeling like it's not what I thought that it was, or like I've been tricked, or I feel hurt, you know, these spaces. that we find ourselves in. And again, like, this doesn't have to be a person. This can be like jobs that you've been doing. It can be situationships that you've been finding yourself in, choices that you've been making, stuff like that can really be applied to anything. So now this allows you to see, like, this has not been life punishing me. This has been me dealing with the karmic implications of where and what vibration I'm making my decisions based off of. So when you get into a space where you realize that this has been a cycle you've been setting up for yourself, it allows you to now transcend you making decisions from like a wounded or a lacking space, and you getting the insight to be able to see that. The world hasn't been putting you in a loop, you have. And so there's this recognition of that. Oh, if I don't want to stay in these situations where I'm inevitably in the Five of Pentacles feeling like I just feel loss and loss and loss over and over and over again, I can recognize and I can understand where exactly in the cycle I need to interject and do something, and I can change like the fate of where I'm going. And now you take back the power because you understand that you've had the power all along. It's about recognizing that. So there's a lot of insight and understanding gained. However, getting to the bottom of figuring out like what was the issue in the first place and what led to what, which choice then ended up in this conclusion that we didn't especially enjoy. An example. One is looking to lose weight, right? And it's like you always find yourself in a space where like the diet has not been working, and you're like, diets just don't work for me. No matter what I do, I can't lose the weight, whatever it is, or I can't, like, I don't feel strong, whatever your goal is, right? This is just an example. And then it's like in replaying it backwards and like reviewing the cycle for yourself, you remember that like every night for the last week before you go to bed, you're eating half of a cake, and you're like, maybe it wasn't like my dieting, but maybe like my doing something that felt good within a moment, and then not thinking about, oh, this is going to affect me getting to that goal that I had, so it's about playing the tape to the end before we make decisions. Even though these decisions, this is why it's hard, these are not just decisions that are being made that it's going to be easy to reroute them. These are decisions that feel good to be making in a moment. However, long term, they are impacting you in a way where it's making like goals that you have feel unreachable to you. It's deterring you from achieving these goals that you have. And you feel more of a sense of separation and a lack of like community and unity because of that. Feeling even out of sorts with yourself and feeling like a lack of confidence, a lack of connectivity. So boundaries are needed. If this is really something that you want, it's about prioritizing how it is that you feel, how connected you are with what it is that you want, and also creating boundaries and creating even barriers for yourself where you're figuring out like, is this goal really worth it to me? Is this something that's obtainable for me? Or is this something that I just need to let go of and be like, you know what, not in this lifetime for myself. So that's also something to think about too. Like, is there something that you want that when you are absolutely, totally, and completely in alignment with a goal, willing to go after that goal, you will accomplish it. It's if there's a lack of willingness because there's more of a willingness for something else, that is when we don't reach a goal that we have. It's a matter of solar plexus energy. And that may have been something that was going on too. When we have a block in the solar plexus, We move to a space where it's about power plays, essentially. It's about, like, what can you do for me? It's about transactional relationships, it can be. And it's also feeling that either, like, we are in power within a situation or somebody has power over us, and it's that, like, unequal exchange that we have. When we have a cleared solar plexus, we know that if we set our sights on something, if there's a goal to achieve, we will do everything possible in order to achieve that thing, and be in a place where you're willing and ready to work on that, and where you know that it's all up to you whether or not you will accomplish that, for the most part. Knowing that you are capable, making things happen. That's your manifesting energy. It's like your power source. It's your will, your willingness. I'm seeing too that this has not been easy to get out of a space where you actually feel capable. You are capable. It's about recognizing that you're capable. Because if you keep telling yourself the narrative that you're not, you're just going to stay in it, but that doesn't mean it's true. So it's also about checking that too. What are you telling yourself? What are you feeding yourself? And also, are you tying in, are you associating, like, your worth and your efficacy with the outcomes of situations? Like, are you making that association? Or are you recognizing that no matter what I do or don't do, I'm still capable? I'm still able to accomplish things. I'm still worthy, worth something. It doesn't affect my intrinsic value. But yeah, you may be doing something like associating self-worth with situations not working out. The thing is that these situations that didn't work out, they're not meant to work out. It has nothing to do with you and how much you're worth and all of that stuff. It has to do with, like, your guides actually helping you out, ending situations that you're not meant to be in. But until you get to a place where you see, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen, or that wasn't supposed to continue, and that's why it came to an end, until you get into a space where you're recognizing again that this is happening, like, for you, not to you, it is going to be very difficult to, like, change this cycle that's been happening. And that's why boundaries need to be set. As soon as you feel like you're falling into a borderline, a borderless water energy, where you are feeling passive aggressive towards yourself, holding animosity, anger, resentment towards you, towards anybody around you, stuff like that, where it's like shadow water energy. I'm seeing a specific highlight of Cancer and Pluto here. Until you get into a space where you're able to set boundaries with yourself and be able to filter what's coming through, understanding too that emotionally, whatever it is that you're receiving, what's coming through, you are not meant to cling to it. You are meant to observe it. You're not meant to internalize it, make it concrete, let it come, let it go, rather than holding on to it and then associating it with you and who you are. But yeah, the more you hold on to it, the more you ingest it, the more concrete you make it, and the harder it is to separate yourself from it, to see who you really are. Which I'm seeing is something that you've been working on. I'm seeing this be something that you're also aware of. This is about getting more into balance. It's about really balancing out your Venus energy, balancing out your Libra energy. Libra is also connected with our partnerships as well, so maybe this is about specifically your interpersonal relationships. Venus can also be related to money as well, resources. So I'm seeing you working on a lesson to, like, reestablish a sense of balance, feeling like you are working with Balancing of the mind, balancing of the emotions, energetic balance. Yeah, I'm seeing there be a lot here about the air and the water energy. Figuring out how to get them to work together rather than opposing one another. This feels like a very heavy lesson. Seems like restoring this sense of balance is definitely one of the more difficult things that you've been working on. The thing is that if you allow yourself to move at a pace that you feel comfortable with while working on this goal of like an overall sense of balance between like the mind and the heart, we can say, don't take on so much that you feel like everything needs to be like corrected in one fell swoop. This is about taking your time and working at a pace that works for you, making a little bit of a change every day and seeing where that leads you. Rather than like renunciating completely and then rebounding back like a rubber band. You want to just do this slowly, a little bit every day. Because it seems like if you set your sights, if you set your goals too high, like in an unreasonable way, you're just going to be adding unnecessary stress, and there's more of a chance of you falling backwards and not being prepared and then starting at ground zero again. So this is not just about working on something that is going to restore a sense of balance within your life, but it's also processing it, doing it in a way that is also balanced too. It's like a lesson in a lesson of itself. And this is what is going to allow for harmony within your life in a much different way than you had been experiencing it before, if at all. High Priestess. Yeah, don't take on too much. You have to move with your own process of what it is that you feel trusting with, because if you move too quick, there's going to be too heavy of a download and you're not going to know what to do with it. So you just want to pace it out at a pace that works for you. That is going to look different for everybody. There is no right or wrong with the pace. There's just what feels right to you. It's about doing it intuitively and trusting that. Because the more you are trusting your intuition and the more you're following through with it, you are going to be in flow. If you're fighting against the current, things are going to feel frustrating, difficult, overwhelming. It's telling you, hey, we're forcing something here that's not meant to be forced. And that's to be trusted as well. That's not to say certain things won't feel difficult, or that there won't be growing pains, or that there won't be like relearning that's happening. However, this is going to get you on track. I am seeing definitely like an overall theme here of partnerships for sure. Getting you into a place where you feel like you are ready to connect, like it becomes obvious to you, even what you're led towards. I'm seeing this as well. It seems like intuitively, even in like a hidden sort of way, this is leading you towards a partnership that is going to make so much sense for you to find yourself within. Rather than partnerships that you may have been like trying to get to work that were not meant to be working. Now there is a focus, and a partnership doesn't need to be romantic this can be like your relationships in general. For some of you, I am seeing this be romantic, but it's more so about the dynamics that are happening, about you finding yourself intuitively in dynamics that are meant to bring like alignment and light into your life, consciousness, that are reflective, that allow you to see yourself, that allow all parties to see themselves reflected within the experience. So I'm seeing you work on an ending or some endings that you've had that have felt like difficult to work through, especially when it comes to your mindset, your narrative that you're telling yourself about why these endings happened. I'm seeing there be work being done connected with an offer, connected with stability. This can also be you bringing stability into your life. I'm seeing there be obstacles that are being overcome in connection, in relation to there being like an overall sense of balance. Whereas before, there was more of a sense of impulsivity that had been overpowering a sense of stability. And so now I'm seeing this be something that worked through. The reason that this is being worked through, because like it's not necessarily a bad thing, well, I mean, so-called, for something to be like impulsive or not impulsive or whatever. The thing is with the Knight of Wands, what I'm seeing here is that like the sense of impulsivity, the sense of like not playing the tape to the end, is what kept leading you to feeling a sense of heartbreak. So whether this be like with people, with choices, decisions, you not showing up for yourself, whatever this was, it ended in a way that felt painful. And this is what we are like course correcting right now. So we don't have to experience something unnecessarily. So we are bringing a sense of light and understanding to it, a sense of awareness. So we recognize, hey, this isn't in alignment with me. And so I'm recognizing what is in alignment with me, and also what it is that I'm craving, what it is that I want, what it is that I want to build within my life. I'm seeing there be a focus on stability, reliability, things of that nature, rather than impulsivity, things being short-lived, also things feeling like great within a moment and then feeling the complete opposite of that too. So no more like yo-yoing sort of energy here. So I'm seeing this be something that you're working through. It's about like reinstating an overall sense of balance. I'm seeing a lesson, a chapter that you are completing here, something that you are working through. And I'm seeing a plan that you are making to look into something more directly, something that has been bringing a lot of stress into your life and making you feel like it is too big of a goal for me to have this. There's like no way for me to reach that. It's this part of yourself, this narrative that's being told that like this goal that you have for stability, for whatever this is, that you can't reach it, and recognizing, hey, I've been telling myself this because I've actually been bringing unnecessary stress into my life by not recognizing cyclically what's been going on. So I'm seeing you recognize that here. I'm seeing you setting boundaries with yourself, really understanding and filtering through the lens of the High Priestess, which is the lens of your higher mind that you are using to analyze and assess this situation with. And then I'm seeing you going back and forth on something that you feel emotionally connected with, and I'm seeing this involve another person and or partnerships. In general, this feels like partnerships, and this may be leading down to a specific partnership for you. Something that is like making a lot of sense to you, something that is being highlighted, something that is now being understood that had not been before about you and partnerships. Seems like specifically a person or like a cyclical thing that you've been dealing with a particular frequency. Okay, so we are looking at, I'm hearing Pisces and Neptune very strongly. We are looking at Gemini, the Sun, Cancer, Libra, Pluto, Saturn, and the Moon. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. 3438. I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for connecting. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.